a very serious look at him. And he's been out of the picture. I mean, he has not been in any of the videos. Has he been seen at all, Brian?
He hasn't been seen since I think it was Tuesday of last week. We got some photos of him outside the house here with this big beard. And he was outside with his wife, Savannah's sister, Annie, and they were in the car together. But it's been...
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers.
The second deadline has passed, and so far, there has been no Bitcoin sent that we know of, unless they sent another Bitcoin address. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you what an address even looks like, a Bitcoin wallet, so that way you do know what you're looking at. And I'm going to break it down to you like really simple, okay? Plus, we're going to go over all the theories from Tommaso, aka Tomato, to his supposedly gambling and his debt, to a power of attorney that was signed. We're going to go over all that. Stay tuned, Fugitive TV. Welcome, this is Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel, where we take a look at cases of unsolved mysteries, unsolved crimes, missing people, and we take a look at these cases from a different perspective, because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself, hence the name Fugitive TV. So I can give you a different point of view than some other people can, because I've been on the other side of the fence, the other side of the wall, whatever you want to call it, so I can see these kind of gray areas. Right now, what we're going to talk about is Nancy Guthrie. Now, I know not just me, creators, news, they've been talking about this everywhere. And the reason why they've been talking about this is because you have an 84-year-old woman who was just abducted from her home that we know of, which doesn't happen a lot. A lot of times people of that age, they go missing, but a lot of times it's on their own account, as in... See, here I'm in Florida. In Florida, we have a lot of silver alerts. Pretty much people, like, they just want, older people just wander off, or they'll get in their car, maybe forget because of, you know, Alzheimer's or something like that, dementia, and they'll forget where they're going, and, you know, things like that. That happens all the time. But on this occasion, no, we know that did not happen. We know that for a fact, nobody just was randomly breaking in the house just to try and rob her. And all of a sudden they were like, oh, let's take her. No, none of that happened, okay? From the get-go, I said this wasn't no random robbery. This wasn't somebody just trying to do a regular home invasion. No, because of where her house sat at on the road, and it took precise planning to get in and to get out of her neighborhood. From all the people I've been around when I was unfortunately locked up that were doing things like that, I wasn't. My crime was more like white collar. It wasn't like theirs. But talking to those people, I can see some of these crimes that happen and pinpoint right away, well, it was probably this type of person or that type of person. Well, as soon as I heard this, I knew this wasn't just no ordinary random, let me go ransack this house. No, it's not like that. And I still to this day think it's somebody that's really close, okay? Really close. We brought up the brother-in-law. Some of you guys call him Tomato or Tomato. All right. We brought up him, and I still would not be shocked if some sort of way he was involved. Not that he did it directly, but something happened that maybe he did that started this chain of events. I interviewed a person a couple videos ago, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys saw it. I interviewed a person on the phone that's doing life in prison right now. And he's from another country. He's from South America. But in South America, that was all he did. All he did was kidnap people, hold them for ransom. And he told me, he said that most of the time it's either going to be over revenge or money. And even if it's over revenge, the revenge a lot of times happen because of money. A lot of times that's just the root of the problem. and there's some sort of revenge that has to get taken. He also says sometimes for political reasons too, which is over money or revenge. And then he also says you have to be ruthless and you have to not care about the individual. You have to be willing to actually sacrifice that individual if needed, dump them off. The guy I spoke to on the phone was no, he was a serious person. Let's put it that way. He was a serious person, okay? And from him telling me these things, mixed with everything else that I knew, now we do know that there was a ransom note sent, right? And then there was a second ransom note. So the first ransom note had the Bitcoin address, okay? And I've told you guys how Bitcoin works. I used Bitcoin when I was on the run from the law, because you can trace it, but if you know what you're doing, it makes it a little hard to trace, okay? And I'm going to give you guys a visual of Bitcoin and how it works. So that way you guys can see it and be like, oh, and maybe you can understand a little more why it is harder to trace, all right? Well, I used Bitcoin when I was doing my thing and I was on the run from the law. I was on the run for 15 years. I did it for a long time. I went to Mexico. I went to Canada. I went to Iceland. I went to all these places while on the run before I turned myself in. So I had to learn how to maneuver, how to use certain transactions, how not to be caught and how not to be tracked. All right. So this is why I know these people who ever did it, they are no joke. They took a lot of precaution into this. Now, I don't think Nancy's still alive, and I hate to say it. If she is, I hope that I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I don't think she is. All right. And that's just what I think. That's just me personally. Like I said, I hope that I'm wrong. And I hope, and not hope, but I really do think that it's either a family member. Some people are saying maybe somebody that worked at the house. It could be a pool person, lawn person, something like that. But these people, if it's a lawn person, they got to know some sophisticated things. Now, one detail I did find out was when the ransom note came in, the ransom note did not come in through email. Okay? The ransom note came in through KOLD, which is the CBS affiliate in Tucson, Arizona. But how it came in was you go to their website and you can like fill out a tip sheet, and you don't have to leave your name in them, but you fill out a tip sheet and submit it. That was how the ransom note came in. And then on top of that, they used they blocked their IP address using scramblers, things like that, where you can block the IP address of where it comes in. So that's why they can't seem to get, the IP address where it came from. Now, we all know Savannah put out another video today. If you have not seen the video, here it is.
A ransom deadline relating to Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie, just passed. This comes as the search for Guthrie and the investigation into her disappearance enters its second week. Guthrie was last seen on the night of January 31st, and since then, her children have released multiple video messages trying to reach whoever took her. Earlier today, Savannah Guthrie posted this video on her Instagram page.
I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
So I still get a lot of people that ask me like how this Bitcoin works, things like that. Because I know a lot of people are not familiar with Bitcoin, how it works. And just from this case, Bitcoin is kind of exploding to, and being put on people's radar. Well, I'm showing you right now, this is what Bitcoin transactions look like. All right. So as you see right here, this is the Bitcoin's person, like almost like their username right here that I'm highlighting. I explained this in videos before. So when you sign up, you get a username, and then you get this right down here. That's your Bitcoin address. Now, as you see, this right here is public. Anybody that has this address can see what your wallet has in it. All right. So for example, this person has 46 Bitcoins, almost 47 Bitcoins. You know how much money that is this person has in their wallet right now? Look at that. $3,284.81. $3,284.81. All right. This person has over $3 million just sitting in their Bitcoin address. Now, you go down here, these are all the transactions that they made. So for example, this is a from transaction. And I click on it and it shows from, and then it shows to. Okay. So this person sent $104 in Bitcoin to somebody. And you see, these are all the transactions and in history with this address. So this never goes away. It always stays there from day one. It will never go away. You can go all the way back to their beginning transaction if you want to. Now, what you can do as well is, let me get out of this address and I'm going to show you something else. This right here will show you their last transaction. I know all this looks foreign because look at all this. It's like looking at the Matrix. It's just a bunch of numbers and letters. That's all you see. Hopefully letting you guys see this will kind of tell you or kind of show you that it is kind of complicated to find out who owns this address. Okay. Now let's go here. All this, if you look to your right, see how it's moving? Those are all transactions that are happening right now. Somebody's made a transaction for $1 million, $20,000, $54,000, $46, $5,000, $2,700. You can literally look at this all day long. Every split second, there's a new transaction. And not only that, you can click on any one of these if you want to and look at the transaction because it's all public. Let's look at this. This has a pending transaction right now that I just clicked on. And then you go here, it says a pending transaction for $6,143. And then you click on it. You see all this? See? And this is a person's address. So it looks like they sent all $6,000 they had in their balance to another address. Sometimes they could be funneling money into another address to hopefully later on cash out or transfer to something else. A lot of legal activity goes on in this, folks, a lot. But a lot of people get rich off of this, a lot. Well, now she's pleading for the public's help. This one doesn't look scripted. This one seems a little different, like she's directly talking to us. The other videos you can tell is scripted. The one thing though I'm noticing is Savannah did a video. Even her brother did a video. Where's Annie's video? I can't find Annie's video. Why hasn't Annie did a video? You know, and I'm not saying she has to, but I'm just wondering why hasn't she done a video? And where has Tomasa been? Or Tomaso, or what you guys call him, Tomato? Where has he been? We have not seen that guy since Ashley Banfield broke the news that he was a prime suspect. We have not seen that guy, heard from him. National media really does not bring him up or anything. Now, some people were questioning Ashley Banfield. Now, whether you like Ashley Banfield or you don't like her, I watch her all the time. I have no issue with her. I watch her. I learn from her. I learn from her. I learn from Brian Eaton. I learn from a lot of Nancy Grace. I learn from all these people, okay? But the one thing I can say, I don't know her personally, but the one thing I can say is how long has how long has Ashley Banfield been doing this for? She's a well-known face. She's been doing this for what? 20 something years, almost 30 years, something like that. So why would she risk her career, go out on a limb and say something like this for a few clicks on a video? I mean, think about that. That makes no sense. She's got a whole career reputation that she's built up. You know, I've only been doing this channel for about 7 months and I'm almost at 20,000 subscribers. Matter of fact, if you have not liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe to my channel because I'm growing. I'm one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube in true crime. I've reached almost 20,000 subscribers in the last 7 months. And I've only been doing it not even a year, but I don't want to throw my reputation away. So I can only imagine doing it for 30 years. No, you don't want to throw your reputation away. So I believe what she said. I believe that that's what her source told her. I don't believe she would come out and just lie. And even me, I have access to do certain background checks. When I do background on Tommaso, aka Tomato, it's weird. It is really weird. He has no family on his side that shows up. Not so ever. My background, I can see, it'll show me relatives, okay? On his side, there's nobody with his last name. There's none of that. The only people that show up is all Guthries. It was almost like the Guthries just invented him in a lab and he appeared. That's almost what it's like. He moved here in 2006. He married Annie in 2006. He formed a band in 2007. And it makes me wonder, did he marry Annie to come to America or did he come here first then get Annie? I'm still trying to figure that out. Before we go more with Tommaso, because we're going to get back on him, I'm going to share to you guys some things I learned by the Tucson Police Office, okay? Police Department, I mean. Now, we all been talking about how the sheriff and rambles along, and even in my last video, the timeline changed, okay? Timeline changed completely. When the story first broke, we were told that Nancy did not go to church, and the church informed her family that she wasn't there and worried about her. They never said who in the family, right? They just said family. Then a family showed up. Well, Annie and Tommaso only lived 10 minutes down the street. So we know already it was them. So they show up and then they don't call 911 for an hour and I believe it was like 7 minutes. And a lot of us are like, why did it take us so long to call 911? There's blood on the porch. There's blood inside the house. What took you so long to call 911? The Nest Cam is snatched. There's all kinds of things going on. So why it took you so long? Then they did the press conference, and guess what happened to that hour? That hour just all of a sudden got wiped away. On the press conference, the new timeline was they showed up an hour after the first time they gave us, and they called 911 within 5 or 7 minutes or something like that. So that whole hour was gone. So we're like, what's going on? First, then they told us it was remember he said that it was forced entry. That's what he was said. That's what he told us. And now they're saying the back doors was open. There's no forced entry. Now he's saying, oh, I didn't know. I didn't say that. Sir, yes, you did. Well, I'm going to tell you guys something here. Back to Tommaso and Annie. Now, if Tommaso is involved, I don't think Annie might be. Who knows, right? I don't know. This is just speculation. But this is a fact. Did you know that the police department has not done a polygraph test in the last 20 to 25 years on anybody? Did you know that? They have not done a polygraph test on anybody in the last 20 to 25 years. Because I was thinking to myself, have they given this guy a polygraph test? Well, this retired detective with that police force said they never used them. They don't use them. He also said, which this could explains a lot. Remember how the sheriff was like, we hurry up and turned it over to homicide? Remember he said that? As soon as we found out, we hurry up and turned it over to homicide just to try and find her. Remember that? The first day? Well, come to find out, the homicide detectives really only have 2 years experience on the job. You heard me right. 2 years experience on the job. All the veterans are gone. They're not there anymore. They retired, left, or whatever. So everybody that's there that's supposedly in a homicide division is pretty much new and a rookie. Could this explain why they let the crime scene early and did not block it off with tape? And then they had to come back twice after all the reporters? Could this explain that? Not only that, the day she went missing, they have access to a helicopter with heat vision, night vision, everything. They could not get the helicopter in the sky. You know why? Staffing issues. Staffing issues. Supposedly 2 employees got into an argument or something like that, and they couldn't get the helicopter up in the sky. That sounds like leadership issues to me. What is going on? I'm reading this from the notes right now. That's crazy. Besides the staffing issues and the detectives only having 2 years on the job and us being told one thing and the next thing is not told. Now, I've heard this discussion a lot. Supposedly, Nancy did not go to church physically. Okay. She hasn't been to church since COVID. All right. She went online. So a lot of us are thinking, okay, Zoom. Well, come to find out it's not a Zoom. All right. So then a lot of us are thinking like, all right, so when you go to that church, maybe there's a chat and people can see her name. Maybe she chatted all the time. Okay. Maybe she chatted and people saw that she wasn't chatting. And maybe they called the family. Well, come to find out, no. What the church is saying that there's no way they can tell if anybody logged in online to look at the service. Is that true? So if that is true, who called the family? If that's true, did they even get a call? If that is true, where did the call come from? I mean, you guys tell me. Tell me below it. Tell me. Where'd the call come from if that's true? If the church cannot see who was participating, that's what they said. We can't see who's participating online. So where'd it come from then? This thing just gets weirder and weirder and weird. It sounds like a movie being played right in front of our eyes almost. But they can't get the script right because the actors ain't acting right. No Oscars for these people. We're just getting a bunch of bloopers. It's just very odd and very weird. Now, police were at Annie's house, okay, searching the septic tank. And the reason why they were searching the septic tank, some people are wondering that. Well, a septic tank, it holds all the waste from the house. So let's say there was blood on a person's hand. Somebody had to use a tool to do something, they wash all the DNA, the blood off, and then it goes into the septic tank. So that could be a reason why they were in the septic tank looking. They also went to Annie's house and Tomato's house, and inside the house, they were taking, you saw like pictures. Well, this was pretty much, they're looking at DNA evidence. All right. They're in the easier, simple terms. Okay. They're putting liquid all over the walls, the floor. And after a while, there's DNA splatter or something that will glow in the dark. That's pretty much what they're doing. All right. To make it really simple. So they went in there and did that. Now, when they first did that, guess what happened? They told us that, and I read it to you guys in my last video. It was a search warrant. They got a search warrant to do everything. When they first went into Annie's house, it was with a search warrant. It was what I read. They went in there with I think it's called a Celebrate or Celebrate. I can't remember exactly, but it's pretty much a machine that goes into the house and it abstracts all digital information from your phone, computers, everything. They brought it out. Okay. But now they're telling us that it wasn't a search warrant, that Annie and Tommaso allowed them in, said, go ahead, do whatever you want. But you know who reported that, though? Who reported that? NBC. Who Savannah worked for? NBC. How did NBC get that information? You would think NBC would not report anything on this, right? Without talking with Savannah. You would think anyway. So NBC is reporting now that the family's house was only searched because they allowed them to. I don't know. Y'all help me make this make sense. Is it possible that they don't want the family to look bad? Is that very possible? I mean, it could be. And then you have a theory with the Epstein files. Savannah Guthrie is in the Epstein file. She interviewed the person, the individual, the female, in 2011, who gave her a lot of information, and the interview never came out. So Savannah has all her information. And not only that, Savannah also interviewed these group of females in 2019, which one of them just unalived herself last year.
A group of people who have experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy. There's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni, Anushka DeGiorgio, and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
She was 17 when this photo was taken with the prince in Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom where she says he her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young. Keelan woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine said, "He's coming back to the house. And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein."
And there's a big wahoo over the Epstein files. Matter of fact, Virginia, her family, was on the news a few days ago angry that not all the files are released. Does this have anything to do with why Savannah's mom is missing? I don't know. But I figure I'd bring it up to you because, like I said, I'm going to bring you all theories. The other theory is Tommaso was in debt, that he was a known gambler around town. I've seen it in Reddit posts. I've seen some people on Facebook saying this. I've even reached out to them. Some of them claim that they've been there and they know that he had a gambling problem. That's what some people are saying. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. That's what other people are speculating or saying. Who knows? But possibly could have been in debt. And if he owes somebody some money and they know who his mother-in-law is, which would explain, think about it, the guy interviewed in jail, in prison. Revenge, money. And he also told me they never get the target. They never kidnap the target. They kidnap somebody who's important to them. That's what he told me every single time. That's what they do. Never get the target. Never get the person that did you wrong. You get the person's family member, somebody, something that means a lot to them. They probably couldn't find Tommaso's family. I couldn't. So they're like, oh, let's get Guthrie. So that's what's connected with him. Nobody else is for some reason. Then you have his bandmate who has a burglary charge, all kind of charges. Home invasion. So is he connected even though the band hasn't done nothing in years? Does he still talk to the bandmates? Bandmates are like brothers. So is he? You have that. You have that angle. There's so much stuff out there that we don't know. Then you have the video that Savannah put out today. But you know, I find it odd about the video. She's asking for help, which I would love to help. I'm trying to help. I'm trying my hardest to help. And I'm good at locating people. I'm good at doing this thing because I lived on that other side of the fence. So I know how some of those people think. There's a lot of, you turn on YouTube right now, like you're watching me, and there's a lot of other YouTube channels, a lot of news media. And what do they usually bring on to help out? Oh, retired detective such and such. Oh, retired FBI such and such. Oh, retired such and such. They never bring on a retired criminal ever. Think about it, ever. I'm probably one of the only channels you watching right now that's doing true crime. That's that you know was on the run 15 years. So I know how an individual will think trying to get away. You could say I almost mastered it. So she's on this video and I'm trying to help, but I need a little info. We all need some info. I can name so many other cases where we got some info. Even with Brian, what's his name? Brian Kohlberger with the Utah 4 or Idaho 4. Remember they pushed out the car he was driving. It was like a white Hyundai. Remember that? And everybody was like, oh, there's a white Hyundai here. There's a white Hyundai there. Yeah, people in Japan talking about they seen a white Hyundai. Yeah, of course, they're everywhere. But still, they gave us something. We got something. Even with Charlie Kirk. Even with that, think about that. FBI gave us a still picture, then another still picture. Now, some people don't believe that he did it to cover up. I don't know. It's a whole nother topic. But still, they gave us video pictures, which led to him being captured, is what they're telling us. But we can't get nothing from, we can't get a sneak, a little bit of pigeon, a salt, a grain, something. Can we get anything? Anything will help. So it makes me wonder, do they even have anything? Do they even have a pigeon, a salt, a grain? Do they have anything? Because sounds like they don't have nothing. They're so desperate that they're pulling, even though there was no subscription to the cameras, so they couldn't upload. They're taking the cameras off the house, taking them back to a lab, because cameras sometimes, even though they're not recording, can still save certain images sometimes. They're even trying to, take images from a camera that didn't save recording. They're trying so hard. They don't know where the ransom notes came from. They don't know if they're real or not, they're saying. They don't know what direction Nancy came from. They're searching a car, trying to find a car at a Circle K. One thing they didn't tell you was, you know the car at Circle K they're talking about? One thing they didn't tell you was, you know whose house is next to that Circle K? So officers went to a Circle K, a tip about a car. So they went to the Circle K at another gas station. Guess where the Circle K's at? Not by Nancy's house. It's by Annie and Tommaso's house. Why does everything lead back to them? The last people that see Nancy. Why Nancy get in an Uber and go to their house? Why didn't they pick Nancy up to begin with? Why is the Uber driver the only one I found out that's cleared in the whole thing? The Uber driver. But why even if they live 10 minutes down the street, 10 minutes, and they're going to go to a dinner function, why not just pick her up? Why she got an Uber? Why are you making your 84-year-old mom Uber to your house with a cane that can barely walk when you only live 10 minutes down the street? I don't get that part. Yeah, mom, we going to dinner. Yeah, I can't pick you up. You can Uber here, though. I'll drop you off. Come on. You treating your mom like a side chick. So I don't get that part. Why was she in an Uber to begin with? Then she gets dropped off. And we know it was Tommaso or Annie. They just can never make up their mind which one or both it was. But we know it was one of those two, or it's Tommaso by himself. We know. Everything goes back to him. Did she even make it in the house? Yeah, they said the garage door opened up. They said the garage door closed. But that doesn't mean she had to go in the house. It sounds like they got a smart garage door opener. I got one. I could open my garage door in a different state from my phone. I can go on my phone right now and log into my garage door app and open up my phone when I'm out of state, or open up my garage door in my state. I've done it for people, for family members or something that need to get in. Here, I'm going to open my garage door for you. And I'm in a whole different state. So it sounds like they had that. Let me bring up something for you guys real quick, okay? Let me show you some stuff. So, there's some questionable things that went on with Tomato and Annie. Okay. So I brought up they bought the house in 2020, May of 2025. They just bought a house, $659K. Okay. He's only a sixth grade school teacher. So I'm always wondering, like, how is he affording this house? Now, they did have a house before then that they lived in. Okay. The house before then, when I did the research, Annie owned it at first, but then put Tommaso on a deed in 2010 or 2011. It was around those two dates she put him on a deed. Well, they sold that house around the same time they moved in a new one. So I don't know how much profit they got off the house, or if it was paid off. That part I don't know. So they could have had enough and maybe put it towards a new house. I'm not sure. But I also saw reports that the new house isn't paid off, that there is a mortgage. I don't know for sure. I got to look a little further. So I'm wondering how much was the down payment. Now, the house is only, like I said, 10 minutes down the street from Nancy, right? Well, I don't know if this means anything, but I would show it on my screen, but it's just way too much information to black out. And I did a YouTube video a while ago on a Kata Scott incident when the court documents came out. I blasted them all over YouTube. YouTube flagged that video and took it down. So I'm careful now when I show certain documents, okay? Well, this is a document of a special durable power of attorney. I don't know if you guys heard of this or not, right? But I'm going to show you guys what this is. Recording requested by Catalina Title Agency and recorded, mailed to, and it says Tommaso Cioni and Ann Guthrie. All right. Then it's got an address where to mail this to. Then what an escrow. And then it says, know all men by these presents that Tommaso Cioni, the undersigned principal, hereby makes, consults, and appoints Ann Pierce Guthrie, my true and lawful agent for me. So Tommaso was given a power of attorney to Annie. I don't know why. You guys let me know why, maybe. I don't know if it's done with the house sale or what. But power of attorney went to Annie to control his finances. To control his finances, okay? So I don't know why he would do that. But the power of attorney isn't a forever thing. That's the part I don't understand. It expires April 1st, April Fools, 2026. So it expires April 1st, 2026. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I have no clue. You guys let me know. Now I'm also going to tell you that there was permits done on Nancy's address, permits for electrical work. Okay? The permits for electrical work was in September 25th, 2025. So what's that? September or October, November, 3 months pretty much before she disappeared. 4 months, somewhere around there. It doesn't tell me what these permits for the electrical work was, like what was going on, but electrical mechanical permit. So I don't know what she had going on at the house, but there was still some work getting done. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you, or not show you, but tell you about this too. So I told you the permit was for September 25th. But then it looks like the last thing completed was by a Robert Harris, January 6, 2026 at 11:09 a.m. And it says remote pass, all bonding and grounds are per, and then it gives you a code. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But like I said, I figure I'd give you all angles. I mean, you guys, what do you think? The second ransom has passed. We have not seen the second note, so we really don't know what it says. We can only speculate. Do you think this is a cover up for something else? Do you think we're ever going to find her? Do you think that Savannah's begging for our help, the public's help, because they don't have anything whatsoever? That Nancy just vanished and gone with the wind? And if that's the case, who are we dealing with? Who are we dealing with? Who took her? Who did all this? This ain't your average Joe robber down the street. This is somebody who knows Bitcoin well, better than me probably, pretty sure. Somebody knows how to scramble IP addresses. Somebody that knows how to stay out of the, how I want to put it, the eye. They could be in front of our eye and we don't even know it. This is somebody, and I said this in one of the first videos, that knows what they're doing, that's probably done this before. Not saying they kidnapped somebody before, but they could have scammed people before. They could have done something. This ain't no average rookie. You don't just learn all this stuff overnight. It don't work that way. And I always tell people, I always tell you guys, one thing I learned by being in that place, that place called prison was that a lot of those people that were in there, especially people who unalive people or something like that, a lot of them done it before. It was just the first time they got caught. That's why a lot of times you might see them in the courtroom not showing empathy. They unalive 4 or 5 people before they got to your relative or your friend. They just got caught for it. It's like stealing gum. You steal one time, you're probably going to steal again and again and make nothing of it, right? It's like breathing air. It's sad, but it's very true. So it just makes me wonder. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, okay? Hopefully there's some new details coming along soon that we can go on about. I got some updates coming on a couple other cases I'm going to upload another video on, okay? With some missing people that reported on. One is Lupita Ontiveros. She was missing out of California. There's an update on her. Thomas Metlin was missing out of New York. Still no update on him. That's a very odd case that at first they said he met somebody off Roblox. Now police are saying he didn't. If you guys want me to dig deep into Roblox, let me know. I'll dig deep into Roblox and we can get that done. All right. There's still a lot of missing people out there. I wish I had the time to tell all you guys, everybody. I get alerts on my phone, news clips from people. And by the way, for you guys that have reached out to me, sending me cases to look into, and some of those cases are personal cases to you. I understand. Thank you for trusting me with that information. I am looking at all that and I'm digging it into. All right. And some of the stuff I find, I might email it to you before I make it public. All right. Especially if it's personal to you. Like I said, please like, subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning. I have the membership down below. It's very affordable. Fugitive TV merch is down below or on the side. I have the Ray Marcel collection. All right. The Ray Marcel collection. It looks great. I got my first shipment even coming in a couple days. So I'll be able to show you guys what it looks like. All right. Please protect yourselves out there. Be safe. Watch out for your surroundings. Take care of one another. Comment below your city, state, the country you're from. There's people watching my channel from all over. New Zealand, Denmark, South Africa. Thank you so much. Fugitive TV, Ray Marcel, I'm out.